So this video is about some thoughts I have on marriage. It's well known that marriages are struggling. You hear the statistic that 50% of marriages end in divorce. I know that that statistic is overblown. For instance, 50% of marriages end in divorce, but that doesn't mean 50% of people get divorced, because people can get married multiple times. So I know that statistic is overblown, but if social media is any indicator, and it probably isn't, there's a lot of people very unhappy with the opposite sex after being married for a long time. And the accusations are usually pretty typical. Women feel unappreciated for all the housework and childcare they do. Men tend to be upset if they have a dead bedroom. Men think that women are just selfish and lazy and initiate divorce out of nowhere. So what's going on? Why? And what baffles me is that if you're with someone literally 24/7, literally you live with them, literally you share everything with them, you share a house, you share your thoughts, you share your bodies, how do we not know each other well enough to make things work? How are we like strangers on two different planets? And that just kind of fascinates me. I study human behavior. I do research that is successful. I do research about childhood behavior, but I am interested in basically all human behavior. And what I think, I think a couple of things, but what I think in particular is that all of our typical tools that we throw at marriage are just not effective enough. People are going to say, well, you should communicate more or whatever. People have no problem communicating. People talk all day long. People say what they want. The other person doesn't hear it. I just don't know that communication, quote unquote communication, is the issue, or just all the typical, like when they say what healthy conflict resolution tools are. I think you can have the healthiest conflict resolution tools in the world and still not solve a problem, still not understand each other. And I think what the issue is that we don't understand human nature well enough. When you're married to someone, you're married to a human. You're married to someone that has all sorts of pre-wired programming in them. And that's where most of my work kicks in. I believe we are not born with a blank slate. I think we are born with some amount of programming in us that causes us to act in a certain way. Carl Jung talks about archetypes. And at their most basic level, an archetype is a primordial emotion. It's a primordial image that carries huge emotional weight. So, for instance, a snake is born with the idea of what a mouse is, or what a frog is, or whatever it is it needs to eat. It knows what to look for already. Human babies are also born with an idea of what a breast is. They want to latch right away. We are not born strangers to this world. We inherit memories from our ancestors. And this image that we have is not neutral. It drives us. We are screaming for that food, for a breast when we're born. The snake wants to go out and hunt its prey. Those are very big emotions. Emotion has the word motion in it. And I think what's happening is that we have all this pre-wired programming that we don't understand. It's as if we're looking at the world through a set of binoculars, and we don't realize it, but everyone has a different set of binoculars. And some of those binoculars are somewhat biased. Like, some of the binoculars have images in them that are clouding how you see reality and are causing you to act a certain way. You have all sorts of innate biases and other things like that. what I'm proposing is that we have to understand human nature better. We have to understand our natural personalities better. We have to understand, in particular, our sexual impulses better. So, if you could take all those, your personality, your sexual impulses, and basically just hold them in conscious awareness. Just understand. So, for instance, a typical conflict in a household might be how clean to keep the house. I hear this conflict all the time. There are some personalities that just don't quite care if their house is clean. Their set of binoculars cares about other stuff. They're not zeroed in on it. They would rather do research work or write a novel or even have fun, versus someone else who really wants the house to be clean. Their binoculars are zeroed in on that little speck of dirt on the counter, and they're very upset about it. And it's somewhere in here where accusations fly. There's a phenomenon in humans that I call moral bias, and I'm writing a book on it, but moral bias is when you have a moral ideal and it shines so bright in your mind that you can't realize that your pursuit of that moral ideal is causing damage to you or others, and you can't take in any feedback to get off your path, your holy and righteous path that you think is the obvious way to live. So people very often will get in this mindset where they want a clean house, and that's obviously morally superior, and so they are morally superior and you're lazy. This is where a lot of conflict comes in, that whenever there's a problem to be solved, a lot of people throw moralizing and shaming at it. It's the default. I'm good and you're bad. It causes black and white thinking. It causes I'm good, you're bad thinking. It causes you to call the other person lazy. I would contend that most of the time the people are not lazy. They have different priorities or a different tempo. One of the things for me is that whenever people go to clean up after like dinner and I'm at like a new place, I'm with a bunch of people I don't know, people intuitively get up and start helping clean. And it's like a race to show who can do it better. You know, they go and I'll do the dishes, I'll do that. They want to make sure they do that to make sure they're good with everybody else. And I'm just too slow. I'm usually, because I'm so considerate of people, I don't want to step on their toes. I don't want to, and so I'm actually trying to coordinate and be considerate, but I get accused of being lazy and slow or whatever. And I've been accused of this on such deep levels by not everybody, but enough people that I would say it hurts, but mostly it feels unfair. It just feels unfair because the people who say it aren't always the best people. So what I'm saying is, if you understand, like, that's my personality. I'm not right in there. I'm not right in the moment, like in the boxing ring, trying to get those dishes done. I'm just naturally kind of a little bit back. And if you just understand that about me, like, things would coordinate well. Because if you ask me to clean, it'll be the cleanest house ever. I will go to the edge of the earth to get every bit of dirt cleaned. And I annoy people with how clean I want it sometimes. So, I mean, that's just one example of a typical marital conflict. And I don't think people understand that they have these personality traits that cause them to be different in how they see the world. I don't think they understand that they have this prewired programming. So I have a very real drive to learn how to teach children well. Deep down, I'm a teacher. That's my archetype. I'm a teacher. And I can't not do it. I can't not do it. I will always want some time in my day to learn how to sit down and help educate my children somehow. And I feel a lot of people don't honor that. They don't see why. Why do you need time to sit down and think about that? Why can't you just throw a curriculum at them? Why are you homeschooling? This is not the world most people live in. And so I'm always having to defend myself to get that time. I'm seen as lazy. I'm seen as confused. I'm seen as whatever. But, and this goes back to larger society, that a lot of people feel the American public school system is failing students. You could use people like me who want to sit down and try to solve that problem. America is very sensate heavy. It's people who want to get in the boxing ring and do things and just go, and not the thinkers who want to sit down and think. I am maligned. My intuition, my introvertedness, my wanting to think and plan, it's maligned. So I feel my humanity is denied like all the time. But in marriage, you have two people with enormous etched personalities, coding in them that they don't even know they have. And I think one of the best ways to understand that pre-programming and coding is to say what you're feeling in any given moment. So that's one of my best advice for how to navigate marriage, is ask someone else, how are you feeling? Vibe check. How's it going? Not just a how are you? Oh, good. Like, how are you feeling? And say how you're feeling. I'm overwhelmed. I've been up since 8 a.m. I've been going nonstop. I've had kids touching me or talking to me all day. I was stuck in traffic. And then here's the follow-up question. What can help? Can I just lay down for 20 minutes in the dark? And so there's so many things over the course of your life, and I think that this pre-wired programming that I'm talking about is very age-related, and it gets released at age-related times. So we know that people go through a quote-unquote midlife crisis. Some people say that that's false, that doesn't happen. I could see that it doesn't happen in some people, but it does happen in enough people. And there seems to be some kind of age-related thing that kicks up in people that makes them want to do certain things. They might have certain sexual impulses. They might have a desire to all of a sudden like have that thing they always wanted and never had. And if you understand that people go through this, I think you can kind of hold it in neutral awareness and say, this is my programming kicking in that I have no control over. Do I want to act on it? And I don't think that these programs, this internal programming and instincts, I mean, it is kind of an instinct. I don't think they're without merit. I don't think we should just automatically dismiss them, which is what current society wants to do. It wants to say we're a blank slate and we can be whatever we want to be. All of our choices are a product of our moral reasoning. I don't think you can just say it's blank. It's not. You come with all sorts of archetypes. All sorts of different people live in you. Like actual people, like a teacher. I just recently developed what I call my policeman archetype, where I'm willing to be like, you, that was over the line. Stop. I have a sexual temptress archetype living in me. You come pre-wired with all sorts of stuff, and you can't completely control them. It's not a blank slate to turn into whatever you want, like a piece of art. To me, that is the root of most evil in the world, because you see other people as moldable. You see them as blank, as being able to be turned into what you want. And then on the flip side, because you are a blank slate, anything you do that's quote unquote bad is your fault. It was your moral choice. Whereas there's a whole ecosystem in you that's operating that we don't understand. And if you understood it, I don't think you could ascribe most behaviors to immorality. I struggle sometimes with what is moral or immoral. Not because I am unethical. I think most people would say I'm ethical. I think ethics developed to create social cohesion so we can take advantage of how much humans can help each other and live together harmoniously which means you need to not steal from other people. You need to not kill them. You need to be trustworthy. I have those archetypes in me too. I was born with a sense of you should do that. But morality itself has been used as a weapon. Morality itself is now the weapon of the abuser. Morality is used for immoral reasons. You use shaming to control other people, to control innocent people. Innocent people are affected by being told they're immoral. They don't want to be told that. They want to feel moral. So you can control them, but you can't control the sociopath who doesn't care. Our sense of morality is starting to fail. It is starting to break down social cohesion. We have lived in a culture for thousands of years that wants to blame that one person, stone them, crucify them, whatever. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I just think that the blank slate theory is actually the root of, I would say, immorality, which is ironic, but it's the source of a lot of dysfunction. And back to marriage, I'm saying you have to at least honor all those things in you. You have to bring them into neutral awareness. And then seek out wisdom. You know, if you're going through a midlife crisis or whatever, you legit probably have no control over it. But you can go look at other people who have been through that situation and see how it worked out. My guess is in most situations, it didn't. But that might not be the case. It might be the case that maybe you're in a very bad relationship and it's time to get out, and all those instincts in you drive you to finally do that because they are a very powerful motive force. So I don't know that our way of handling life as humans right now is so very cognitive. Talk it out, identify the issue, do this, and that hints at what the solution is. But not really, because we believe we're blank slates and can do anything. I think you have to honor that person who is otherwise on a different planet than you. And you have to humanize them. You have to understand their humanity. Because it really does baffle me that you can live with someone, that anybody, anywhere, can live with someone for even a year, let alone 5, 10, 20 years, and you don't know each other truly, not well enough to resolve the conflict anyway. That blows my mind. Like, you should know each other by then. Or maybe there's other things that are irreconcilable. Anyway, thanks for watching.